Hello everybody, this is Desmond Yugioh, or Desmond YGO, back again with another video, and today I'll be starting a kind of series. This will be kind of based off of the, what we like to call the sealed only challenge, but in this case I'm doing it a bit differently. So, the way I'm gonna do this is it's similar in sort of progression style, but in different ways. So what we're going to do this is the deck I have right now, which I'll be showing to start off the series. I'll take a deck that I do not have anywhere near a complete build of. In this case, this is Gladiator Beast. I'll put all the cards I need together, put in any generic cards I need to support it. In this case, thankfully, Gladiator Beast have so many cards we don't need it. And then we can, we will then either play. Well, we'll play through matches in campaign and multiplayer, and then we'll proceed to try and make the deck better. For those of you who want to build Gladiator Beast and Legacy of the Duelists, you want to open up Zuzu Boil and Soul Burners packs. Zuzu gives you all the old cards, or the old support, or the old style cards, such as Augustus, Bestiari, Darius, Democari, Lanista. I don't remember if Noxious is one of them. Colosseum, Despite, or Respite, Ground, Proving Ground, stuff like that. And then Soul Burner, and also for the fusions, you get like Gazaris. It'd be basically all the fusions from this, except for Dominatus. And then you also get the new cards from Soul Burner, like Aderix, Vespasius, United, Comeback, Charge, Namachia, and Rejection, which Rejection we need more copies of for obvious reasons, but I'll explain that later. So yeah, and this is all the cards we have access to. A lot of these cards are terrible to the point where we can't even run them effectively. And we don't want to run 3 of this for other reasons. A good example would be Gladiator's Return. You only want 1 because you're not gonna have that many Gladiators Beast cards in your graveyard at any given time, because even though there are 2 cards to send from deck to the grave, the only way you're getting cards into the graveyard is Link Summoning with Dragaces, which we don't want to do as often as possible. We sometimes need to go into them, but that's about it. And then we want the only other thing is to bring it to shuffle back Charge, I think Charge, Comeback, United, those are really the only cards we generally bring back. Maybe Respite if we're bored and we need it. They also have a bunch of equipped spells, which we don't, they're all terrible, so. And yes, we could play War Chariot, but I don't like playing War Chariot in this build because this build can't, how I say it, in most Gladiator Beast builds, basically your best opening is either a card, which I don't think I have. Let's see if I have it, boys. I think we might actually, yeah. You open up Rescue Rabbit to summon out 2 Andal, or you open up any level 4 lower Gladiator Beast and Test Tiger. And the reason why is you go into a card that I don't have that we really need, and that is Test Tiger, or Test Panther, sorry. And that card basically just combos your entire deck off, basically just gets you free cards. We're also missing some of the fusions I need, specifically the fusion that goes with Augustus. I forget what's exactly called. But, I guess let's talk about the deck itself, how it works and stuff like that, and get into this. So, the main thing of Gladiator Beast, if you guys don't know, is that when they are special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, they all get an effect, specific to their card. In this case, Aderix gets you a Foolish Burial for a Gladiator Beast monster, or an extra foolish, or you get an extra foolish sort of burial effect from the extra deck, which is really cool. Augustus specials 1 from the hand, but shuffles it during the end phase. Bestiari destroys a spell or trap. Darius is a monster reborn. Dimakari can just attack twice. We only run him because he's just another level 4 that we can run. Lanista returns a or it banishes a Glad Beast in the grave to become its name, which can actually be good. Noxious specials itself from direct attack. And then if it's special by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, you can Foolish Burial, but not from the extra deck. Vespasius, he has a weird effect too, where if a Glad Beast battles, he can special himself, but his special effect is that all the Glad Beasts gain 500. And then Test Tiger, which all it does is you can special it from hand while you control a Glad Beast, and then you can tribute this card to target a Glad Beast you control, shuffle it into the deck, then summon one with a different name, and it's treated as though it was summoned by a Glad Beast. And their second effect, which is the effect that all of them have, except for obviously Test Tiger, because Test Tiger sort of activates them. When they at the end of the battle phase, if they battled that turn, so if they battled and then you go to when you're going into main phase 2 or the end phase, you can shuffle these into the deck and then special a Glad Beast with a different name from your deck. We don't use the effect as much as some people think. Actually, believe it or not, that's actually one of the worst parts of the deck. You mainly just run other cards to get them onto it, and the only one we generally use the shuffle effect with, unless like we're in really dire straits, is Dragasis, because he is terrible. So simply put, I'll explain his effect later, but all the extra deck monsters, when they can do the same thing, but generally they can tag out into either 1 or 2 Glad Beasts from the deck by shuffling themselves back into the extra deck, and I'll explain how they fusion summon and all that later. But you use him to special summon so you can get the high level monster sometimes if you only have like a Test Tiger and stuff like that, which I believe but generally that's just so like you can get 2 low levels into 2 high levels for reasons I'll explain in a bit. Colosseum, basically whenever a monster is special from the deck, and that's either player, all Glad Beasts gain 100 attack for each counter, so this card gets a counter every time a monster special from the deck. And then all your Glad Beasts gain 100. If this would be destroyed, you can discard a Colosseum, so discard itself, to prevent this card from being destroyed. It's kind of terrible. We only run it because it's still an attack boost, which is needed in the case of, which one was it? Not Neurokius, it's Dominatus and stuff like that, just so we can deal with certain cards that we can go up against in the meta. 3 United, so this card it's basically a it's like it's Miracle I'm trying to think of what would be the best card to respond to. It's similar to Miracle Contact and Miracle Fusion if they had a baby. So simply, during the battle phase, so that's why it's quick play, so you can only use it during the battle phase, shuffle into the deck from your hand, field, or graveyard fusion materials listed on a Glad Beast, special summon the monster from the extra, ignoring its summoning conditions, because Glad Beasts have a special type of summoning for how they fusion summon, and you can only use 1 per turn, and hard ones for turn, and you cannot declare attacks when you the turn you activate this, except Glad Beast, which this whole deck is Glad Beast, so that doesn't matter. We run 3 of it because we want to see this as often as possible. Really cool thing, by the way. So if you use Dragasis, right, and you tag out, you can then in the battle phase, so generally you would tag out with this dude. But then you can special summon a bunch of them, and you can sometimes just fuse with this just in case. Like let's say you summon all 3, right? So let's say you tag out him, right? You summon out Augustus, Vespasius, and then Augustus summons like Lanista or something like that. And then your opponent goes to like Torrential Tribute. So all the cards get destroyed, then you can activate it right after they get destroyed to shuffle them all back from the graveyard into the deck to then summon their big boss monster Dominatus for free, which is kind of funny. Comeback specials a glide from your hand or grave with a different type of monsters you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle. You run 3 of this. We only have 1 right now, which kind of sucks. This card's just broken. Respite. This is an old one, but it's still really good. Shuffle 2 Glad Beast cards from your hand into your deck, then draw 3. So it's I'm not really sure what to call this card, but it's basically just hand fixing. So if you just draw like Andal and like one other Glad Beast, that sucks. So you can shuffle them back to get better cards. Gladiator Proving Ground just adds a level 4 lower Glad Beast from your deck to your hand. Just easy because the fusions require specific names. At least one of them that we play does. Next we have Gladiator's Gladiator Rejection. This is like oh my lord, this card just makes this deck so much better, and as you can see we only have 1 of because we don't have any more. Play 3 of this card no matter what. So if you guys don't know, your opponent cannot target Glads you control with card effects except during the battle phase, which doesn't matter really because there's very few card effects that target during the battle phase unless they're traps, which is and this is the good part. If a Glad is specialed from your main deck, except during the damage stuff, you can special a Glad from your deck with a different type, from monsters you control in defense position. And by the way, I'm sorry to say it's actually not a different type, or yeah, it is different type, so some of them are a bit weird, like they have like conditions on how they summon. Easy way to make this a broken card is you open up this, with Andal and Test Tiger. You activate this, you summon Andal, summon Test Tiger, use Test Tiger to tribute itself, to get rid of Andal. Then you special summon Augustus from the deck, then you get to special summon Vespasius from the deck, and then you get to go into Gladiator Beast Tamer Eder, which is like our playmaker in the deck. Gladiator's return, target 3 Glad Beast cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1. Simply shuffles back Unite, Comeback, Respite, any of our monsters, and the 3 of trap we run. Gladiator Beast Charge. This is a Ritual Beast Steeds for the archetype. So, target face-up cards on the field up to the number of Glad Beasts you control with different names. Destroy them. We run 3 just because it's a free frickin' nuke effect. And then we have Namatchia. Now, this card is good in combo with Dominatus, which is our big boss monster. So, while you control a Glad Beast, all monsters your opponents control must attack. Once per turn, you can shuffle a Glad from your hand or graveyard into the deck, then target a Glad you control. It gains attack equal to its original defense until the end of the turn, so basically it becomes really beefed up. And then, if this card would be destroyed, or if this card is destroyed while in the spell and trap zone, Glad Beast you control cannot be destroyed by battle for the rest of the turn, which we mostly just use it for its like sort of pseudo floodgate effect, and we'll talk about that once we get into the extra deck. But yeah, that's the main deck. It's pretty decent. Like I said, there's a lot more cards we need in order to make this deck function very well, and the ratios will change a hell of a lot once we have Test Panther and stuff like that and the rest of the extra deck. With that being said though, let's get on to the extra deck now. So, Gladiator Beast Dominatus. This requires Gladiator Beast Vespasius, plus 2 Glad Beasts. So it requires him, and I'll explain, yeah. So, it must be specialed from your extra by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. So this card uses what is called the contact fusion mechanic. So what that means is that instead of using fusion cards, you special them by shuffling cards, by either shuffling, banishing, or sending cards you control to the graveyard. Which, there's a few other archetypes that do this, namely Ritual Beasts and Neos, but Gladiator Beasts and Ritual Beasts are by far the ones that are most known for it, at least in terms of like their viability. So yeah, that's how you summon all the Glad Beasts fusions, but let's get on to the actual effect. So once per turn, if your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can negate and destroy. 10 out of 10 effect, so it's literally a negate for us. And this is where its combo with Namachia comes in, and it's really hilarious. So you choose the attack targets for your opponent's attacks. So that means they declare an attack, you choose which monster they hit, which is hilarious because while you control Glad Beast, all monsters your opponents control must attack if able. So which means that unless basically any Link monster they do has to suicide into this. Any monster that's in face-up attack position that doesn't have like an effect stopping it from attacking, it has to punch into this. And it's a 3500 attack beat stick that I've seen because of Colosseum plus Vespasius getting we're up to 4600, which means there's basically no monster aside from like Dragon Master Knight and like a few like a Cardian boss monster. Like there's very few cards that can beat over it. And then if this card battled, you can return the extra special Glad Beast from your deck. This one's special is only one, which is what makes it. You never want to get rid of this dude. It's only on there for the fact that it's a Glad Beast, so it needs the effect because of, how Glad Beasts work. But overall, you never bring this guy, like, you never shuffle him back. You always just keep him on the field since he's just great protection and, like I said, negation. We have Gizaris. This was basically what made Gladiator Beast Tier 1, if you guys don't know, back in the day. This was one of the biggest Tier 1 cards, or one of the biggest cards that enabled the Tier 1 status of them. So, you need Bestiary, this guy. Yeah, you need Bestiary plus 1 Glad Beast. Easy, same effect, special by shuffling cards you control. When this is special summon, and remember when it says when this is special summon, which means if you were to special summon it from the graveyard after it's been summoned, which I believe it must first be special from the yeah, so if this was to be Monster Reborn, cough cough come back, when it's dead, when it died on the field, you can target up to 2 cards on the field, blow them up, and then if it battled, you can tag out into 2 Glad Beasts from the deck. We run 2, we should be running 3, so do a Dominatus, you only want 2. Just in case one gets somehow knocked out, then you can get the second one, but Gizaris you want 3 of. Narokius, he's basically just the generic fusion that we can go into if we need a big beater. So he requires 3 Glads, same summoning condition. Cannot be destroyed by battle if this attacks or is attacked. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step, so he's basically an Ancient Gear monster. And then he can shuffle. Basically, if he battled, you can shuffle him back to summon 2 Glads from the deck. He's, like I said, he's only there for a beater. We'd only run 1 of him regardless. Now we got into the reason why this deck is stupid, and why we want so many level 5 or higher on the field. So, Tamer, Gladiator Beast, Tamer Adder, so he requires 2 level 5 or higher, Glad Beast. Special by shuffling, that. And cannot be used as fusion material, that's not a big deal. This is where things get dumb though. Once per turn, you can special Gladiator Beast fusion monster from your extra deck, except itself, ignoring its summoning conditions. Oh, and that's a soft once per turn, by the way. Then at the end, and then it has the standard shuffle itself back into the extra, and then summon a Glad from the main deck. So, we have 3 of them, thank God. There's also another one which allows you a special one from the extra deck for free. But literally what this means is that, let's say you have Dragisis, or actually, let's just do the combo with, Test Tiger that and Rejection. So, you get to summon out Augustus, summon out Vespasius. Augustus can tag out into it can summon anyone that you still may have in hand. You go into Tamer Adder, you special summon Dominatus, and then you now have 3 monsters on the field, 2 of them being high-level fusions, 1 of them being a monster negate, and being like a Sur semi-floodgate for attacks. You make it so they can't be targeted except during the battle phase. And with all of this, if you opened up with Namachia, Jesus Christ, I can't pronounce words, you proceed to just dominate them. Monster effects, gone. They bring up a bunch of spell cards, nuked with charge, so they literally don't care about Mystic Mine whatsoever. Oh, they try and get rid of your monsters with spell effects. Nope. Monster effects, negated. The only thing this deck literally worries about ever is skill drain, which is actually kind of funny because this deck can actually work around skill drain just because with cards like Test Tiger and stuff like that, because he tributes himself before the effect activated, like before the effect as cost before the effect actually goes off, you can use the effect still. So like let's say, yeah, I don't know, you have like you use Comeback to summon Vespasius, you normal summon Darius, and then you special Test Tiger. You can still shuffle back Darius to grab out like Augustus or something like that, and then you can fusion using like Unite and stuff like that. So this deck is pretty much, it's super resilient, and it's really easy at getting comebacks with it because it requires so little cards to do so much. The only thing that sucks about this though is that this deck does have really big issues with dealing with disruptions. Simply put, this is a going second deck, although it can go first if it absolutely has to. But overall, like I said, it just has issues with the fact that simple disruptions and negates at the right time basically make this deck absolutely useless. With that being said, though, like I said, we'll play a few games with the deck today. Next week, I will give an update to the deck, or maybe even a few days later. Who knows? I still got to set up a schedule on this situation. But yeah, so that's how this series is gonna work. We're starting with a deck like this that is incomplete. We're going to play with it a little bit, see how it works. And then after, like, we see what's going on, we see what we need to maximize out of the deck. I've played full Power Glad Beast, so I kind of already know what we got to do. But I still want to explain and show you guys what's wrong with the deck and what's causing issues. That being said, we'll be right back once we get into some duels, and then afterwards I will talk about what cards we need. Yes, he will. Hey, look, it's Private Plant Birthday Anaconda, a card that's kind of fucking broken. So I'm gonna go rock, he's gonna go rock. Sword Scissors, so I'm actually gonna go paper for the counter. Got it. So I'm gonna go second. Generally, he would want to go first anyways, but most decks want to go first, but my deck doesn't really care too much, and plus, holy shit. Okay, we opened up a pretty good hand. We're literally one card off of having our best hand. And he's playing fucking 6. Okay, he's playing a really shitty version of 6 Sam. Because, A, you never waste your first dojo, kids. I guess he's gonna synchro, or he's gonna link summon. Okay, so he's link summoning, but why are you going for I sold? Are you stupid? Sorry guys, but if you guys don't know, you go for Grandmaster, then you search out, now this depends on his hand. I don't know what his fucking hand is, but it must be really shitty if he's searching Kageki and stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys don't know, the main way people do is they go into I sold second. Because they use, they search, oh, what the fuck's the card name? They use Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai, the link, and then they use that to special summon. But why? What do you search? What do you search? Even if you banish this and fucking the tuner, you summon out Kizaru. But then what does Kizaru search that's actually worth doing? Because you can't search an Earth. You can't search an Earth, which gets rid of your special summoners. Okay, you search out the fucking armor. Okay, so that's why he was able. That's why he did it, because he fucking had stupid DDR in hand. But even then, though, like, what do you end on? A synchro? Because then he gets the armor out. Now I'm telling you guys right now, this is a very, very scuffed version of this frickin' thing. And besides, either way, if we open up Test Tiger, we win. Because Gladiator Proving Grounds is just gonna break his whole thing. Okay, so he's going into Grandmaster. Or, sorry, yeah, I forgot they changed it. It's now Battle Shogun. So you have to discard one, then you can search a frickin' 6 Sam card. Or a Bushido counter card. Bushido. So you search Gateway. If you guys don't know what Gateway does, it's a frickin' broken card. The issue is, though, is he only gets... Like, unless he has keys on in hand already, he can't do any loops. You guys don't know, because watch. So he summons out 6 Sam, Xian, right? Now here's the issue, though. So he gets 1 counter with this, 2 counters with this. Well, he needs 4 in order to do the loop. You guys don't know the loop. You can add a 6 Sam from a graveyard or deck to your hand, and then you add keys on, which is a card that non-once per turn specials itself. So we're gonna do Proving Grounds. Searching for Darius. We're gonna shuffle back Bestiari and we're gonna shuffle back Bestiari and Andal. Okay, he negated it like a moron. Boys, we got this. So if I remember correctly, this card doesn't care about attacks. Holy shit. Okay, boys, ready for this? We about to play this man's whole career. So we're gonna Darius. We're gonna wipe the field with his monster. Then we're gonna special summon Vespasius. Vespasius effect activates, allowing us to give it extra 500. So then we get to nuke his whole field, basically. Xian Squire. Okay, that's no big deal. Because he now has to use Xian's effect, which is, to be destroyed, you can destroy another 6 Sam you control instead. Which, cool fact, because of that, it still counts as being destroyed by battle, so you can't use the effect that they usually do. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that. We're going to special Augustus. Augustus effect. And rejection. So rejection is going to summon us out, it doesn't really matter at this point. We're going to summon out Adrix. Summon out Bestiari. We're going to pop his Bushido counter generator. So, cool fact, we can actually do something really dumb here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna special into editor, which editor will summon itself a Dominatus from the extra. Then we use Bestiari and Adderix to go into Gizaris, which Gizaris will then nuke his monster. And the thing is that when he tries to negate it using a 6 Sam in the grave, watch this. Gizaro effect. Oh wait, what? This should trigger. Or no, because does it say banish instead? That's why. That's actually not a big deal for us though, because he can no longer attack us, nor can he activate. He has like a once per turn. He can't use a monster effect. So he's basically just a sitting duck. right now. Unless he has, like, some sort of way to, like, nuke me. Okay, so he's gonna beat over my monster? Or he's gonna try, like an idiot? Hey, buddy. Did you forget I choose the attacks? Aw, he rage quit. Okay, boys, that's a pretty good way to show you guys how Glad Beast works. We're just doing a story mission because I need to finish GX and this doesn't bother me. So we're playing up against Volcanics. That's what this dude plays. I don't know if they have the updated Volcanic cards or not. I never did this fight yet. And oh my lord, we opened up rejection combo once again. So like I said, if we can open up rejection combo, we win every game, pretty much. Now the issue is that this card is a Blaze Accelerator card, and I know it. So we're gonna summon Andale. And a special Test Tiger, and this is where the combo comes in, boys. So, Test Tiger. It's gonna tribute. Get rid of Andale. Summoning Augustus, so Augustus is the one we want to summon first, just in case. We want to use Augustus effect, and then Rejection. Now Rejection is going to summon out Vespasius in defense mode, and then we're going to summon out the second Augustus. Or, no, that was not the one I wanted, but whatever. It's no big deal. Because either way, we get out Tamer Editor. Which is our spam the board card. Tamer Editor. We're actually gonna special summon out Gizaris. The reason why is because if you guys have never played against Volcanics, they're not meant to be how do I say it? They're not. They don't have good monsters. They merely have really good trying to think of what to call it for you guys. They're really good at nuking the board with their cards on the field. So boys, we're about to do something even dumber. So because it's a soft once per turn and not a hard once per turn on some of the effects, I don't know if the base Glad Beasts are. Nope, they are not hard ones per turns. So boys, we about to so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into a second Tamer Editor using these two. And what this will do is from now on we will now be able to summon up to 2 Gladiator Beast monsters from the extra deck during our turn. Then we will use you and you to special summon Dragasses, which, like I said, is probably the you never want to run this dude outside of this sort of circumstance where, you know, we kind of have to because he's a Link monster. But there you go. So now next turn we can summon out 2 Grizaris from the extra for free, and then so basically we get to pop 4 cards, and we have a monster negate for our next turn, and they can no longer target our cards with card effects. Boys, now it's time to show you the true field. And we have charge just in case. Tamer, summon, Gizaris. Gizaris effect. No. Editor, summon, Neurokius. And this is a Glad Beast board, boys. This is a Glad Beast board when you have no negates. It's so stupid.